Hi guys, I thought today we'd look at one of Jason Mraz's new album. It's Might As Well Dance. It's a pretty cool tune. It's got quite a lot going on. When I first heard it I was like, oh, it's just kind of 4 chords, but then it kind of builds and builds and it's pretty cool. So we'll look at that. We've got the solo right at the end as well, so we'll crack into that. If you could like and subscribe, that really helps my channel as always, that'd be great. My album is in the description below, so if you could check that out as well. And any comments or requests you have for new lessons, just pop in below and I'll try and get them done. Right, that's enough talking, let's go for a close-up. Okay, so first things first, we'll look at the rhythm. I learnt it mainly off the live version of him playing acoustic and then kind of moved it back to the original just because it was easier to hear the guitar. If you want to see just a video of it with the guitar as well, I'll be doing a cover in a couple of days, so that will be like without it moving around, you'll just be able to see what's going on with the guitar. And also you can check out my cover. Bit of a shameless plug there. Right, let's go in for the rhythm. All the way through, Jason Mraz has got this kind of down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? And all the rhythms just are variations off that, and it's mainly with the left hand, there's kind of staccato, punchy kind of feel. It's kind of similar to, you get it a lot in sort of reggae, country, that kind of music. So this right hand's just going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up all the time. And then we just put in our bits where we want them. Okay, that's the intro, so if we talk about that, because there's loads of different variations, I'm going to kind of talk you through the 3 main rhythms, and then we'll go through the song and I'll just kind of talk about how it's the same rhythm but on a different chord, and then if you practice that bit on your own, just because otherwise this video will go on for days and days. So, the intro, we start on a D and then we go to D sus4. We're going to have a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. For the first, so you're going to play the first note as a D, 1, then and 2 and, and 2 is muted and is played. So 1 and 2 and. 3 and is muted, 4 is played, and the last and is muted. Okay, so down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? Second bar, you start with a mute, so down, up is muted. And then we play a few more here. We're going to do a hammer on. So down strum, and then hammer into the sus4 with your little finger. And that replaces the up. And then we got down, up, down, pull off. And that replaces the other up. So there's a lot more going on in the second half. We go start with a mute, down, up, hammer, pull off. So if you put them together, okay? He has tiny little variations, so you can bring in the D sus4 earlier, later, you can mute a few extra, you can mute a few less. That's kind of a lot of what's your own spin on it. As you start to get into it, you start to just get a bit of a feel and kind of go with what sounds good to you. That just gives you your own unique variation on this. Cool, so that's the intro, and then that comes in the verse, but we'll go back to that, talk about it. Just want to talk about the main rhythm, which is kind of comes a lot in the chorus. Okay, that bit. So we're going to do it again on D. I should have said earlier we're in drop D, by the way. We're going to be using this bass a little bit. You don't have to play it in drop D, but it will give you that fuller D chord. So we're going to go down, down. So it's going to go 1, 2. I like to pick the bass. You can just do a bassier strum. So 1, 2, then and 3, up, down is muted. Okay? And then that up that we used before, it's the same one. Sorry, that's a lie, it's not the same one, it's 3 and. So 1, 2 and 3 and, you're going to go to sus4, okay? and then you go to 2 more mutes. For some reason I always take my little finger off when I go back to the mutes. You can keep it down and just keep the pressure off. It's just something I do, and I only noticed it the other day. So, that first bar. Okay. The second bar, we go to this D, it's like a D13, it's with an added 5th. So little finger goes to the 5th fret. It's quite a stretch, so just take your time getting to it. You can kind of, if you bring your thumb a bit lower on the back, it makes it a bit easier. We're going to go down, up, down, up. Okay, and you kind of mute that last one. Cut it short. Then we have a muted, like the 3rd beat. Then sus4 for 3 and with the up. Then a muted 4th beat, and then a D for the last. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit confusing. Okay, and again. And again, this is one that he varies. Sometimes he plays this bit for a bit longer. A bit like we've done, sometimes he cuts it short. And then adds a couple in on the sus4. Vary it through the song. Once you start getting through, just kind of play with it a bit, see what sounds good. So I'll play that lick all the way through nice and slow. Okay. They do the same thing on A and the G, and we'll talk about it as we go through. So they're your 2 main rhythms, okay? So if we go back to the verse, we start with that first one and we do it 4 times. Okay, then it's the second rhythm, but it's on an A. We go from A, which is barred, A sus4, and then a variation on A with your little finger hitting the 5th fret, okay? And it's exactly the same rhythm as we did on the D. Okay, I'll do that really slow so you can see. Okay, then we have a slightly different rhythm, A7. So middle finger off and leave the middle finger off in the chord. We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and is muted. Okay. Then we go to a variation on A7. It's the 9th fret of the E and the 9th fret of the G, and then you do the same rhythm. Okay. When he does it the second time, one and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, it sounds a bit weird on its own. And then he does the same rhythm, just on an A, 4 times. Okay? So I'll do all the A's together really slow. Okay, then we go to D and we do the same lick that we did before. And then he just leaves it on that down, up, and then it kind of runs into the mute and we head into the chorus. Okay, so it's basically the same rhythm on the G, but it's very slightly different. This G is a bit odd because of the drop D tuning. We've got our ring finger on the 5th fret of the bass. Sometimes he has little finger on the 5th fret of the A, middle finger on the 4th fret of the G, and then you can either bar the top 2 on the 3rd fret, or just play the 3rd fret of the E. I'm pretty sure it's just playing the 3rd fret of the E, but it's quite hard to tell. Basically it's the difference if you like folk G or 4-finger G. So we're going to keep the same rhythm we had with that kind of D sus4 lick coming up. So we're going to go down, down, up, down, mute. That B does sometimes ring out. And then you come, without the ringing out B, to 2 5s on the E and the G, on that up. So it's the down, down, mute, mute, up, that's the 5s. Okay, you can let them ring out if you like, or mute. Again, this is all a choice thing. Then down up is mute, and then you're going to do the next down, so we're into the next bar, so that first bar goes 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, slide it up to the 7th, and then the down is going to be even mute, and then back up is to the 5. I know all this ups and downs gets a bit confusing. Okay, last bit, down, up, and then we have up, down, up on that 3 and 4. Just make the little 3 and 4 on the G and the E rather than going back to that full chord. So the second half, sorry. All together really slow. Okay, and you do that twice. Then you do it on D. Twice. A twice. You can practice hammering in. And then D twice. But when you get to the D sus4 on the second chorus, you're going to stop because we have the rundown, which leads into the bridge. He plays it up high on the record. On the acoustic he plays it low because it works better on when you're playing on your own to play it low. So it's going to go 3-2 on the B, 4-2-0 on the G, 4-2-0 on the D. B minor chord. Okay, coming out of the D it sounds like hopefully you hit the B minor slightly better than I did. So we're going to go into the bridge. The bridge is the easiest bit of the song, you'll be happy to hear. It goes, the rhythm's slightly different. We've got a down, down, up, up, down, up, 1, 2, and 4, and. Okay, 2 bars of B minor. 2 bars of A sus2, but he plays it slightly different voicing. Barring the A, and then he uses his little finger to get the 4th fret of the G. I like to use my ring finger, same difference, just personal preference. 2 bars of that. 1 bar of D. 1 bar of D7. 2 bars of that G. You can use that little finger for effect if you like. I can't hear it on the record, it's just something I like doing myself. And then you go 2 bars of B minor, 2 bars of A sus2. But as you start the second one, you just play it once and mute because we're back into a chorus. Okay, so I'll just play it through the bridge all the way through. Back into the chorus, slight variation. Whenever he sings that "We've Got Nothing to Prove," is a variation in the chorus. The G's are the same. Second time round, you stop at the slide. Then we have 2 downs on a D, but bar chord. Sometimes he plays an open chord. And then D7. Let the D7 ring, and then and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you can play the bar chord, it sounds better. A bit punchier. Okay, then you're straight back into the A, just like the other chorus. Then we're into the solo, which you'll be happy to hear is exactly the same as the chorus. Apart from on the G, you just stay on the G. You can either do 2 full bars of G, or you, on the second bar, do a little rundown, 7, 5, 3 and 4, before you hit the D. And then it's just same as the chorus from there. We'll look at the actual solo at the end of this video. And then verse 2, the only little difference is he just lets those D's ring, and then does just the D sus4 bit. Okay? Last bit with the acoustic, we're going to talk about the outro. He does both choruses, so like the chorus and then the chorus variation. And then you repeat the bit on the A, so you come back to that. Once you've done that the second bit time, you go to the G, do the G thing, then D, and finish with an AD. So it's like 3 beats of D, and then 4 is A. And that's the end of the song. I hope you kept up. It's a little bit confusing trying to get it all done in time, but let's crack on with the solo. So for the solo we have 4 phrases basically. It comes in just before this G chord, with this is the first phrase. Okay, so what that is, we're going to go on the 3rd fret of the G, we're going to hammer onto the 4th, we're going to pull off to the 3rd, we're going to pull off to the open. Okay, that's the first bit. And then we're going to go 0, 3, 5 on the D. Then we come to 2 at the, 3rd fret, 2 strings, G and B. Just cover them with your first finger. And then you're going to hammer on, it's like a double stop, it's a really quick hammer on to the 4th fret of the G. And then just pick them together, it's a tiny little G chord. Then we come to 5 on the D, 0, 3, 5. Okay, I'll just go back through that really slow. Then we do that double stop again, but just once. This time we're going to pick just the 3rd fret of the G, do a half bend with your index finger, so just pull it down so you're getting that 4. 5-3 on the D, 5 on the A, slide it to the bottom. Okay, once more through that phrase. Second phrase sounds like this. Okay, it's quite punchy. I use a little bit of palm muting in the right hand and just keep that alternate picking going. We're going to be on the 3rd fret of the D, and we pick 1 and then just mute it, so it's like a staccato note. Just let the pressure go. Then it's 4. I start with an up in my alternate picking. 4 3s, that is, not the 4th fret. Okay, then across the 3rd fret of the A, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, back to the 3rd fret of the D, pick it again, hammer to the 4th. Then we have 4 4s, little pause, then we have another 4 4s, and then we come to 3. Okay, so I'll go from the start. Okay, and then just to finish it we go 5 3 5 on the A, and then really cut that last A short, that last 5 short, sorry. Okay, then we come to what's probably the hardest of the lines. It's definitely the longest, and I'll just play it through for you now. Can't talk properly today. Okay, so we start with 2 7s, the B and the G, and again it's quite sort of muted. Play it and then let go. 5th fret of the E string, slide 7 to 8, back to 7, back to 5, then play 7 on the B quite flat, so you can roll over and catch 7 on the G. Next bit, we're going to go 5 6 5 on the G, pull off, hammer on pull off. Then another flat ring finger on the 7 of the D this time, roll to the 7 of the A, and then it just walks up. 5 7 on the D, 5 6 on the G, 5 7 on the B, 5 7 on the E. Okay, pre-bend at the 7. So bend it first, then just bend it down, pick it, then bend it down. 5th fret of the E, then roll over. 5th fret of the B, so again we're quite flat on that E. Then we do another pre-bend, 7 to 5. And then come across to 7 again. And then we have one more walk down, 5 6 5 again on this hammer-on. 7 on the D, 7 on the A, 6 5, and then 2 more of these little double stops. It goes 3 4. Okay. Take your time with this line. It's quite difficult. Once you memorise it, it gets a lot easier. Okay, then the last line's quite simple. We do the chromatic scale. We go 9th fret of the A, and you just climb up 9, 10, 11, 12. I like to add in a mute in between, so I get a... Doesn't really matter. You can do it all with your ring finger. You can do it with your first finger, middle finger, whichever you like. Then we're going to go 8, 9, 10 on the D. I do those with your first finger because the next bit is going to go 10, 11, 12. Then 2 10s, it's in both the 10th fret of the G and the D. Slightly bend the second one, let it ring, and then where Jason Mraz hits that open D, we're going to go 2nd fret of the bass string, which I should have said earlier, not that we've come across it, is actually tuned down to a D, so you can get the note. So you're going to bend the 2nd fret and then you're going to hit the open D. So remember to keep this one in drop D as well.